Hey everyone, AJ here, and welcome to the Battle of the Builders Marathon. I'll be here every night this week checking out each episode of Battle of the Builders, leading up to the premiere on the History Channel this Sunday, February 7th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, in this episode, I have a new co-host, the super cool race car driver, stuntman, and actor, Tanner Faust. By 2017, we're in full swing. People around the world are building cars just to compete in Battle of the Builders. So sit back and enjoy the show, and I'll see you guys at the end. Welcome to Battle of the Builders here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and SEMA, the most spectacular aftermarket trade show on the planet.
And today, we've got the most talented automotive craftsmen in the country going head-to-head to see who's the best.
These are hands down the most incredible custom rides you've ever seen. But this is a competition, and only one builder will take the win.
This is the 4th annual SEMA Battle of the Builders, and the battle is about to begin.
Hello everyone, and welcome to SEMA Battle of the Builders. I'm AJ, and with me is professional racer, stunt driver, world record holder, and TV host, Tanner Faust.
Thank you. This is where legends are born, right here at the most prestigious build competition in the world.
And thanks to the Specialty Equipment Market Association, or SEMA, for hosting this event and for giving these builders the opportunity to become icons.
And now it is time to find out which of these talented craftsmen has what it takes to be the best.
Every year, we've seen this competition grow. Bigger crowds, more entrants, and more recognition. It's no wonder the Battle of the Builders trophy has become the holy grail for builders and designers around the world.
This is craziness. This is craziness.
SEMA is the stage, and Battle of the Builders has taken the spotlight, becoming the most important and talent-packed competition on the industry circuit.
Every product, every tool, every builder, everybody that's any part of the automotive industry comes to SEMA from all over the world. There's nothing like it.
Battle of the Builders is the main event here at SEMA. And now, in its 4th year, the Battle of the Builders has become the top-ranked build competition in the world.
For the last 3 years, I've been watching the show, and it's just become absolutely intense.
You know, the Battle of Builders thing has evolved like obviously like a rocket.
And this year, we continue to recognize young talent, again shining the spotlight on the next generation of automotive superstars. Now, we've added a Young Guns category, making the judges' job that much harder.
Once again, we have our 3 judges representing 3 categories. David Freiberger tackles the hot rods, RJ DeVera handles the sport compacts, and Fred Williams heads up trucks and off-road.
And we have Mike Wynn and David Patterson checking out the Young Gun cars for our judges. This is a bigger and better Battle of the Builders. With more than 300 entries, our judges have a whole lot on their plates.
It's a really tense time because there's a lot more entries this year for all 3 of us.
David, RJ, and Fred dig in for a long night of deliberation and finally narrow their picks down to their top 10 from each category.
I'm really just concerned about trucks and 4x4s, and it's great to see that that stack of contestants is getting bigger and bigger each year. Let's go, Freiberger.
This year, it is more of a stress case than it ever has been because of the volume of great cars.
My name is Brad Deberti. What I have this year is one of the only 2018 Mustangs. My history is trucks. You know, I professionally race off-road, so I live and breathe trucks. And jumping into cars, it's a whole different ball game. The whole point behind this build for me, I'm a younger generation, but I've been raised old school. So I wanted to make an old school, new car. When we were gonna cut into this thing to make wide body fenders was pretty insane because the car had 14 miles on it. My teeth were just clenched because, I mean, to watch that happen to your brand new car is just crazy. This has been a lot of work. I mean, it's been thousands of man hours, but it's finally there. To win Battle of the Builders would be insane. I mean, again, when you're going against the most high-end cars in the world and high-end builders. It would be a dream to win Battle of the Builders.
And from modern muscle to import power, another young gun, Dylan Coleman, is ready to turn some heads with his incredible M3.
So my company is called Street Fighter Los Angeles. We're based here in El Monte, California, and our main product that we sell is wide-body kits. So the car behind me is an RB26 E36 M3. We started building the project about a year ago. I picked up the car at SEMA from Airlift Performance. We 100% designed the body kit on our own. Our kit's fully clear angle kits for drift competition and full track use. We have a Nissan Skyline RB26 engine that's fully built, fully fabricated with a huge single turbo. It pushes about 650 horsepower to the crank. The car's built actually to go over 1,000 horsepower if we run full 100 octane fuel in it. I just turned 22 this last April. I've been working on cars ever since I was in high school. I used all my money. I worked at a skateboard shop when I was young to save up to start modifying cars. Battle of the Builders to me is much more than a competition. It's genuinely an event that people work through all year now to start showing what the best projects they can possibly put out. In correspondence, with our sponsors, distributors, partners, things like that, it gives us the opportunity to show our potential as a company. I can't compare SEMA to any other show there is. The only way to describe the Super Bowl of all car shows.
It wasn't easy, but our judges managed to narrow the playing field down to 40 spectacular rides.
For a complete list of the top 40 contenders, please visit the SEMA website at www.sema.org/BOTB. When we come back, our 3 veteran judges take their expertise down to the SEMA floor.
Now they've got to take their top 40 down to the final 12.
You won't want to miss this. The competition continues when SEMA Battle of the Builders returns. Welcome back to Las Vegas and SEMA Battle of the Builders.
The competition here is intense. Our judges are walking the SEMA floor, taking a closer look at the top 40 finalists.
All right, what we have here is your standard 68 Camaro. The thing that is interesting about this is we know that the guy who built it's under 27. He's a young gun. But look at the influence that is reflected from those cars that we're looking at from the big guns.
So this is more accessible then.
But still spectacularly executed if you look at all the little details. A custom console, seats you can buy from the aftermarket, and he's put his dash together with autometer gauges. It's a really good combination of aftermarket stuff packaged in a very tasteful way. This is one of my favorite cars of the whole show.
Me too. And it's a young gun.
23 years old.
Yeah, 23.
I want to take this home and cuddle with it.
So cool.
84 Rabbit with
Front
an
half.
LS swap.
Yep.
So this is the best of your world and mine.
Yeah.
VW with a V8.
And young gun.
Yeah.
Fit and finish is just over the top for such a young builder.
Yeah, I want to do burnouts in it. And take it home
I'm sure
and
you
pet it.
easily could. This is cool.
Yeah. So this is a 54
Beast.
but it actually is on a late model Chevy, like 3/4 ton. So it's got a Chevy diesel engine, Allison transmission.
This is like a giant street rod.
It's got a diesel engine under the hood. It's got 4-wheel drive. It's a dually. It has all the power of a late model truck, but it looks really cool.
I know, you should have kind of what normally happens.
Next on deck is a one-of-a-kind Packard with several wins under its belt already, including America's most beautiful roadster.
90% of this thing is custom coach work. Basically, the grille and pieces of the hood are Packard. The whole rest of the thing is handmade. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
I don't even know how guys do it.
My name is Troy Ladd. I am the CEO, owner of Hollywood Hot Rods in Burbank, California. I believe Hollywood Hot Rods is known for tradition, traditional style. We do not build traditional cars. We like traditional aesthetic and things that have a certain look, but we're probably the furthest thing from a traditional builder because we use technology and we create. We have to create something new.
It
car we are bringing to SEMA's Battle of the Builders is the Mahon Speedster. It was designed by Eric Black, and it's basically, it's got Art Deco, some European, some American, a lot of just various designs of that era all rolled up into a brand new car. Part of that idea was the engine. So based on proportion and size of the vehicle, it needed a 12-cylinder. And Packard engine just isn't hot rod, but a hot rod Lincoln is. So that's what it is. It's a Lincoln V12 flathead. The SEMA Battle of Builders, I competed in the first year. Didn't win, but made it to the top 10, which is pretty cool. And then the last few years, I know the numbers have just been growing and growing. Matter of fact, I believe one of my cars was in last year and didn't even make the top 10, so there you go. So this year, I'm hoping that we'll do pretty well.
So what are we looking at, Fred?
So this is Mark Turner's bootlegger truck. I've actually four-wheeled with this truck, and the cool thing about Mark and the stuff that he builds, it's not a show truck. He will drive everything he builds. But I think it's a really good kind of fit of both function and has like a really unique kind of hot rod look. But it's a pretty basic suspension, just leaf springs front and rear.
What engine's in it?
It's a supercharged LS engine.
Oh, I would have seen that coming.
Yeah, I think it's an Edelbrock crate engine, actually.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of LS engines, our next builder has put his power plant into a more traditional ride.
My name's Jk Johansen. I'm bringing a 1970 Camaro. I did a LS swap in it with a T56 6-speed. It's got a 12-bolt Detroit Speed Quadrolink rear suspension and just a bunch of little custom tricks that I did to it.
Inspired by Battle of the Builders' first champion and owner of Detroit Speed, Kyle Tucker.
Kyle's car basically kind of moved me into the direction of building a style car like this. One of the things I kind of want people to see about it is I'm a kind of small guy that I want to encourage other kids growing up and wanting to do this, that anybody could do it. To me, SEMA Battle of the Builders is an opportunity for a builder to get recognized within the industry. You get to compete against, to me, industry icons that many people like me look up to. For a guy like me that builds out of the garage, to be able to get recognized for something of this caliber, it's an honor.
So we're gonna look at the 72 Datsun 510, something that's in my class. I know it's a 72. For us, this is a classic car. And this is a build that's kind of like a resto mod on a hot rod, which you usually don't see on import builds. Usually some motor transplant, really crazy fenders, flushed wheels. And he's, you know, just like the Rabbit, the Young Guns Rabbit, has a lot of restraint to it.
I totally dig it.
Yeah, it's a full rotisserie build.
So has it been repowered, or is it the original engine?
You'd normally expect that for a lot of the tuner guys, but I think this guy just took the factory engine, fully rebuilt it. Just a very clean build that comes together really well. That feels like a car that would have came off the factory floor modified in 1972, and that's what draws me to this car.
Coming up, we announce the top 12 contenders.
When SEMA Battle of the Builders returns.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining. I'm Ira Gabriel from SEMA. I've got Joe Cibergandio and Mike Robledo with us from the Battle of the Builders team. We're back at the Gold Lot this year, but Mike, we're introducing a lot of builders that will eventually become household names.
The competition really heats up this season. Guys like Scott Roth and Jeremy Miranda and Eddie Pettis come into the competition guns blazing. It's no longer just the household names. And this is the year that we started giving out golden tickets to Young Guns. This is a competition where if you are 27 or under, you could win a way to have your car at SEMA and compete with the big boys. Guys like Dylan Coleman and Jk Johansen and Austin Phipps start to appear, and they still build to this day.
You know, in 2017, I remember that being like the Battle of the Troys. I had gone back with Troy Trepanye and his Jack dad for well over 30 years. And, you know, to see a guy as humble and modest as Troy be voted the best by his peers, that was an exciting time. And I'm sure that Jack was looking down on Troy pretty proudly at that time, just like the rest of us. So that was a great year.
So before we get you back to the show, check out SEMABOTB.com for more information about the Battle of the Builders. And don't forget, join us this weekend for the 2020 SEMA Battle of the Builders TV premiere on the History Channel. Check your local listings. A lot of action left. Let's get you back.
Welcome back to SEMA Battle of the Builders.
Our dedicated judges may have lost a little sleep last night, but somehow they managed to narrow down the competition from 40 to 12.
That's right, the official top 12 or decorated dozen. Hey guys, how you doing?
Fantastic.
You certainly have gotten your exercise over the last few days. I mean, with 300 entrants spread out across the biggest auto show in the world, how do you see all of them and how do you narrow them down?
We take it really seriously. We have to go literally crawl under every car. We're here till midnight. It's at the point where I'm looking at cars and going, this has hardware store bolts in it, and this other one has got polished heads on everything.
Okay.
That's the level of detail.
It's
so minute.
You all obviously come from different backgrounds. I mean, I was talking to you earlier, RJ, and you've been doing this now for a few years.
This is the third year, yeah.
You probably have developed some opinions in their specialties in hot rods and off-road trucks. So
I've learned so much from these guys, and now I can kind of give them a little bit of crap. Yeah, I think every builder is just trying to go to the next level, whether it's in the trucks, the hot rods, or the imports, trying to do whatever they can to have an edge in this competition.
The truck guys are growing and moving ahead every year. They're really trying to up their game.
Is there still some sort of homage to the original, monster truck and some original off-roading DNA?
Oh, yeah.
So what we've done here at Synergy Manufacturing and Poly Performance is built the Jk Commando. And what it is, it's a 1971 Jeepster Commando on a brand new Jeep Wrangler frame that we've shortened up to 101-inch wheelbase. We wanted to build something that was cool, that would catch the consumer's eye and the people at the show's eye, and still featured all the off-the-shelf suspension and steering components that we make. It showcases the best of the best, and it showcases what's possible when guys, want to work hard and make it happen. To be grouped in that grouping of people is just, it's phenomenal. Winning the Battle of the Builders would be badass.
Now, there's been some big trucks that we voted in this year in our truck top 10, but I really want the truck guys to crawl underneath some of these hot rods and see what they're doing so that next year the truck guys can really come in and dominate.
But then you'll call it too pretty because you like the functional stuff. You're always looking at a 4x4 that'll actually work.
I think it'll happen in the future. There'll be a pretty truck that'll actually work off-road.
And is this the debates that you guys have been having?
Oh, it's worse.
Constantly.
It's terrible.
Yeah, we're churching it up right here.
Yes. At the end of the day, we want it to be pretty and we want it to function well. And there's that pendulum that kind of swings back and forth, and that's what we debate about.
So you guys have an official top 12?
We did it. Narrowed it down.
Okay, so now you guys can officially rest and breathe.
Now it is in the hands of the builders themselves.
All right. Don't go away. When we come back, the top 12 Battle of the Builders is announced. This is SEMA Battle of the Builders, and we're getting closer and closer to awarding the crown to one very talented builder.
The judges had a grueling job this year, but they've managed to narrow the field down to an official 12, or decorated dozen.
And the top 12, in no particular order, are... First up, we've got Eddie Pettis out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and his stunning 1963 Chevy Corvette.
This is first time visiting SEMA, first time showing a SEMA. Winning this award would just prove a lot to our guys at the shop and hopefully get people to know what we're made of.
And next, Jeremy Miranda from Delray Beach, Florida, with his completely custom 1969 Chevy Camaro.
The interior is probably the biggest highlight of this car. The idea was to give the customer an interior that he could sit in, felt like he was in a brand new car. The fit and finish is like no other in this car.
And then we've got Alan Johnson from Gadsden, Alabama, with his 1932 Ford Tudor.
I'm proud of the whole car. This is the best car my shop's ever built. The Battle of the Builders, to me, if you can make it to the final cut, you're not going to get a more fair judge than your comrades that can accomplish the same things you can. the guys that's going to be in the Battle of the Builders should know what it took to get there.
Next on the list, Mike Markin from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, with an incredible 1938 Graham 97. This was originally a four-door sedan, which has now been converted to a completely restyled two-door coupe.
Hearing my name called for the top 12, I leapt out of my seat. It's magical.
And another Corvette, this one built by Scott Roth from South Burlington, Vermont, with his 1966 split ray.
It took 9 guys, 17 months, and it was a struggle. So when I see it, it's a proud moment because we all came together and just built a real badass car.
Next up, the incomparable Troy Trepanye from Manteno, Illinois, with his hand-built 1929 Ford Model A Tudor sedan.
It's getting tough. I mean, there's so much young talent out there, and you know, years ago when I started, there was like 4 or 5 of us, and I was the young guy, and Boyd and Little John, all these guys, Posey, Brizio, they took me in, and it was a small group because there was no social media, nothing. It was magazine only, so now it's exploded.
Next, Phil and Jeremy Gerber from Mundelein, Illinois, with their 1969 race-inspired Chevy Camaro.
I'm hoping the rest of the builders really see all the detail that went into it. You know, it looks kind of raw and hardcore, but there's a ton of fabrication, custom machine components, 3D printed parts.
69 Camaro is a tough car to do something fresh. We wanted to build kind of an all-out ass-kicker street car.
Next, we've got Troy Ladd of Hollywood Hot Rods out of Burbank, California, with his 1936 Packard Roadster. A complete one-off steel coach built entirely from concept drawings.
At the shop when we were building the car, we literally had one-to-one scale drawings like posted on the wall that we could compare. Then we had on the other wall a half-scale drawing on a grid that we could measure off of. Because one of the key factors about working with Eric Black is he can design to scale, which not many guys do. So we could literally measure off of the drawings and try to recreate the car from paper.
Larry Griffey from Knoxville, Tennessee, with his amazing 1954 Chevy Corvette.
Competition here is exceptionally high. You know, you've got Alan Johnson, you got Troy Trepanye, you got Troy Ladd. These guys have been building cars for a long time and are top-notch builders. I hope that they can see what I've done because it's not obvious. It doesn't have Mercedes headlights. It doesn't have billet grills. It doesn't have a lot of this stuff. It is a car that I hope we enhance the look, and I hope they see that.
And from the off-road category, we've got Chris Payne from Taft, California, with his nearly 1,000 horsepower 1995 Ford Bronco.
It's a fully trophy truck pre-runner type status. Every single nut and bolt is completely changed in this thing. From the front to the back, it's pretty much not even a Bronco anymore, to be honest with you. It's got a 41/34-inch Camberg racing axle in the back. I mean, this thing is dialed front to back, so it's something you can go get the groceries in, or you can take it out to the desert and beat the living crap out of it.
Next, we've got Peter Nam from Garden Grove, California, with his 1995 Porsche Carrera.
I'd love the judges to see all the little details that we put into the car, the design elements and all the functional and mechanical things that we've done to improve the performance of the car.
And finally, master craftsman Andy Leach from Bennington, Nebraska, with his 1930 Ford Model A Coupe.
The Battle of the Builders, the way the whole thing works is unlike any other judging process. And what's great about it is now that the builders are the ones judging at the end. You know, there's no politics. You got guys that appreciate craftsmanship and the cars. It's going to be fun.
Congratulations to all of our top 12 finalists.
A big thanks to our amazing judges who are now officially out of the picture. Now it's up to our top 12 contenders to narrow the field down to a final 3.
So this is the way it's gonna work. Each of our 12 finalists will have the opportunity to pull their ride up on stage and for 10 minutes tell the other builders why their project deserves their vote.
Once all the vehicles have been judged, we move on to the blind ballot. The only criteria, no builder can vote for themselves.
The builders will make their final picks, but they won't know who's been selected until we make the announcement at the start of the Sema Cruise.
Our first finalist on stage is Scott Roth and his 66 Corvette.
We took a Stingray and cut it in half. So we cut the car down the middle. We added 6 3/8 to the center. but it's more than that. All the lines were changed just so to try to break your eye away from the fact that it's all wider now. We designed the gauges and then Classic Instruments made those. A lot went on in redesigning the engine. So it's an LS9. Typically the two cooling blocks are together, they come out the front. We separated those, designed a new supercharger lid. There's a radiator in the fender with two fans on it, and that's in the rear gill. Air's scooped and forced under the fender. This is all sheet metal work. The hood's been cut in 10 different places, and then we actually made the scoop on it functional. We were trying to give it like an Italian kind of supercar flair with all of that.
Great job.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, gentlemen, next up is Peter Nam and his 1995 Porsche 911 Carrera.
So my whole vision of this car was to basically create the air-cooled 993 GT3 RS that Porsche had never built. So everything is based on functionality and performance. Power-to-weight ratio on this car is higher than a modern Porsche GT3 RS. We would remove and weigh every component of the car, every screw, every hardware, every body panel. We had weight records of every single portion of the car. So one of the things I did in the front is I made these carbon fiber headlights, and I didn't put clear coat on them because clear coat adds weight. So, for example, the floor mats. We made leather floor mats, but we found out that the floor mats weigh 9 pounds. So we had to then make carbon fiber floor mats that only weigh 2 pounds. The car makes 431 horsepower, and the original car made 272. The idea is to take this car racing on Sunday, and on Monday you can take it to the office and drive like an everyday car.
Next to the stage, Michael Markins and his stellar 1938 Graham.
This car took 6 years to build. Started out as a 4-door sedan. Graham didn't make a 2-door coupe. They had plans for it in their sales literature, but it never went into production, so we made one. The deck lid is a 37 Chevy coupe lid, but we flattened it and then we scalloped it. We wanted the trim points to come really, really fine. Thank God for advanced plating, because they could do that. These things wanted to waffle around in the tanks, but they figured out a great way to take care of that and get that to a point. Inside the car, we put a 37 Lincoln Zephyr dash in there and used their gauges, had them updated by Classic Instruments. Really wanted to make it look like it came off the assembly line as a 2-door coupe.
Yeah, you nailed that.
Thank you very much.
This is Larry Griffey and his 1954 Corvette.
In building this car, what we wanted to do, first things, we wanted a Corvette, a 54 Corvette that set right, that had the hot rod look, the hot rod stance. Got an Edelbrock supercharger, LS1 motor, 4L60 transmission. We cut the whole entire floor out of this car and channeled it. I call it channeling, though, guys. Newer guys will call it body drop. Dropped it 1 inch at the back, 1.5 inches at the A-pillar, and 2¼ inches at the radiator. At the end of the day, the car park's in my garage. It's my wife's, my own car. It's the first one we built for ourselves. What I'm most proud of is it looks like a 54 Corvette.
We're nearing the final stage of the competition, but the battle is far from over.
Who will be selected as the SEMA Battle of the Builders Top 3?
Find out when we come back. Welcome back to SEMA Battle of the Builders.
Right now, the decorated dozen are in the process of judging, selecting the top 3 finalists.
Each of these rides are examples of automotive artistry at its best, setting the stage for the rest of the world. These builders represent the most talented the industry has to offer.
We're about halfway through the top 3 selection process, with the builders putting every detail on these rolling works of art under a microscope.
And we are so close to having our official top 3 finalists. And up next, we have Jeremy Miranda with his 1969 Chevy Camaro. And your 10 minutes starts now.
We started with the idea of building an Italian-inspired 69 Camaro. Every panel on the car that we made was handmade. I don't have crazy machinery. I don't have Polmax or nothing like that. So everything was literally shaped out of wood and then just hand beat, TIG welded, metal finished. Car rides on a Roadster Shop fast track chassis. It's a 440 cubic inch LS7. It's got a carbon Osmo intake, K-Tech valve covers.
Is this a paint? Or is it
That's all paint. No, it's all paint. The whole engine's paint. It's all PPG. Interior, I think, is where this car sets it apart from anything that we've ever done. The stereo is a new Alpine 10-inch monitor, and it's got a custom Dakota Digital AC controller. The whole interior is made out of plastic, and everything is magnetized. Every panel in the car is done with earth magnets. So there's no clips, there's no silicone, there's no glue, there's no wood in the car.
Super cool.
The whole interior is built like that. Every panel in the car is done like that. One thing that I think is amazing about Battle of the Builders is that the judges do pick the cars, and I think they did a hell of a job picking the top 40 cars. When it gets down to the nitty-gritty, I think us as builders, we're not judges, but we see the things I feel like nobody else would ever catch.
Next up, we have Troy Ladd and his 1936 Packard Roadster.
We call it a 36 Packard, but it's actually a modern coach built. This is like a prototype. This does not exist. So basically, we try to create the sexiest roadster hot rod that we could possibly imagine without any boundaries. The anchor point of the project was the Packard grill, because the owner started the whole process with the idea that the Packard grill is one of the most beautiful grills that were ever made. So the roof works like this. Basically, this is an all-steel body that we coach built in-house. We call it a 90% coach built because we built 90% of it, but we also integrate pieces of real car into it to really give it some DNA and some character. We like mechanical things as beauty, so we don't try to cover them or hide them. We enhance anything mechanical.
Amazing job.
Next, Andy Leach and his incredible Model A.
The owner wanted the car to be like a high school kid's car where his father had way too much money. That was the only direction he gave me. One-off wheels by Evod, Halibran inspired, trying to stay period correct. Blown Arden. It's got Allen's brakes on it. Everything was plated by advanced plating. The headers is where the car really started. I saw a set of these in the Speedway Museum. I knew I wanted to build a set of headers like this, a cast-looking pair, so this was the perfect car to do it with.
I'm most proud of this car for the simple fact of we built a traditional looking hot rod, but it doesn't look like the others, and it just screams attitude.
Next up is Eddie Pettis and his 63 Corvette.
When the customer came to me and presented this idea, we had one rule. We don't take away from how cool a 63 Corvette really is. So we didn't want to take any crazy drastic body modifications, but we wanted to do a little bit of a European influence. We worked with Art Morrison Chassis. We designed their first C2 independent rear suspension. I've outfitted it with 14.5-inch carbon ceramic brakes from Willwood. There's hundreds of little modifications to this car, but everything was very subtle. We outfitted the car with a full system, a stereo system from Kicker Audio. The customer does want to drive the car and enjoy the car eventually. It has a 19x12 on the rear, 19x9 on the front with Michelin tires. There was a lot of debate back and forth what we were going to do with engine, whether we go modern LS, whether we stay traditional 327. We went with the traditional 327, keeping the inspiration of the original 63 with it.
It's your first SEMA, right?
This is my first SEMA,
Oh,
so
good job, man.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Good job.
So.
And the only truck to make it to the top 12, Chris Payne and his 95 Bronco.
It's got 980 bald eagles, AKA horsepower right here underneath the hood that would have been here had we not taken it off. It's a 2.9 liter Whipple supercharger. It's a 5.0 Coyote illuminator. This thing's got all the power to do whatever you want it to do. If you guys are looking at it, it's not the typical vehicle we've had up here on stage already today. This thing's completely custom built to the hilt. And it took us, I'm not lying to you when I say this, it took 4 months. And the cool thing about our team is we're all 30 and under. This was built at a desert lab out of Burbank, California. Partnered collaborations with my company, Truck Gurus. I'm traditionally just a truck guy. They're off-road guys, and we pretty much took the two combinations and married them. Another cool feature is the 4130 full trophy truck rear axle. It's a 4-inch. It's got 40 spline axles from Curie Racing, and it may look super badass, but guess what, guys? It's still 4-wheel drive. And in the front, we're strapped at about 15, 16 inches of travel. In the rear, we've got over 2 foot of travel. Tough Lights took care of us on 7-inch LEDs all the way across top here. And then up here on the front is the Phoenix Light Bar. It's a new AI series. So what it does is it's actually a programmable light. I can actually set this light to go from spot to flood or flood to spot. As I'm driving down the road, it'll do it all by itself. So it's a new technology that's out by Phoenix Off-Road. People do always bring the best of the best of the best. And here at SEMA, you're gonna see the best of the best in the world. So just being at SEMA and being in the Battle of the Builders and included, it's insane.
Killer, man.
Thank you, guys.
Next up is Alan Johnson and his 32 Ford Tudor. You have 10 minutes. Thank you.
What I was trying to do with this car was build a timeless 32 with a lot of new and innovative styling that still stay traditional to what the car was and not build something that's offensive. You know, if a guy liked the Don Spencer Roadster, he'd like this car. There's nothing offensive about it. The engine is a 312Y block that, again, we wanted everything to look old school on it. We worked with Classic Instruments on the gauges, and they come up with a way that we could do the face of the gauge where we machine part of it, laser etch part of it. It's nickel, so everything that you see, it's not printed, it's actual nickel showing through that. I think all of us are friends in this industry, but the guys like Troy Ladd, Troy Trepanye, Andy Leach, I mean, I don't feel like we're competitors, but when you get to this, we're competitors. We all want to win, and it's the best in the country here competing together.
Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got a couple of brothers who are no stranger to this stage.
This is our third year in Battle of the Builders. We had 2 cars back in 2015, then a Chevelle last year in 2016, and really excited to be nominated in 2017 here.
The whole concept's really like a street fighter. That's the idea. Just a menacing, kind of ass-kicking, badass car that's gonna get used, driven. The body mods aren't super extensive. I mean, the whole car is just kind of christened up. Interior, we just wanted to keep it pretty simple. I didn't want to get crazy and make too much of a statement. Big spec autometer gauges that are in your face. The car is going to be used. I wanted everything ergonomic and just driver friendly. So it's got a Bowler 6-speed, and sitting on that is one of his shifters with a Delrin shift knob. Again, a little bit of that road race feel.
Penske double adjustable shocks. It's got a strange 9-inch Ford in the rear. Fabbed all headers on this one since nothing was available at the time for the LTs. 3-inch exhaust, Borla mufflers.
The theme in here was keep it what it is. Let it be mechanical, make it tidy, don't overdo it. You know, not a tremendous amount of styling, but I think the mechanical aspect of it kind of dictates the styling.
Damn.
Now let's take a look at Troy Trepanye's gorgeous Model A.
Our take on a Model A here was, you know, these are big for rat rod cars, so you see a lot of them that are wildly misproportioned and everything, so we wanted to take one and misproportion it everywhere a little bit, but finish it a little bit nicer, so that was the idea behind the car. What we really tried to concentrate on this car basically was more on the suspension. Like when you study the front suspension, the headlight is the shock mount. It goes up inside the headlight. There's a chromoly halo under the grille that supports the car. It's probably the strongest part of the car. I just wanted to get rid of another stalk in the front, basically. One of the unique features is the grille, and it's a little bit 32, a little bit 35, and a little bit 36 Ford. So we took all 3 of the Fords and kind of blended them together. Tried to keep the motor pretty dummied down, just a little aluminum small block, made 400 horsepower, fuel injected. We made the valve covers that look like Ford, made the oil pan to look like Model A.
Absolutely insane,
Thanks.
man.
Thank you. It's tough to really narrow down on one because you like different parts of each one, you know, and it'll be tough, but we'll see.
When we come back, we announce the top 3.
Then it's time to make our way over to the Sema Ignited event. It's all coming up when SEMA Battle of the Builders returns.
In just a few minutes, all these incredible rides will line up for the Sema Cruise.
But before we hear those engines start to rumble, it's time to announce the official top 3. Then our finalists will head to the front of the line and lead the way to SEMA Ignited.
Here it is, top 3 in here. You ready? All right, let's do this. SEMA Battle of the Builders, top 3.
We've got Troy Ladd in the 1936 red Packard Roadster. Absolutely spectacular car.
And next up is Alan Johnson in his 1932 Ford Tudor.
The third of 3 to lead the parade tonight is Troy Trepanye. His 1929 Ford Model A Tudor sedan right behind me. Absolutely stunning machine. These are three amazing finalists. We're gonna find out which one wins later tonight across the street at SEMA Ignited. Thank you all very much.
Jay Leno, everybody, he's gonna lead the SEMA parade.
Oh, hi everybody, how you doing? Hi folks, hello.
Welcome to the annual Sema Cruise, the coolest car show on wheels.
This is an open event where the public gets a chance to see the spectacular cars of SEMA in action. As SEMA closes its doors and the sun begins to set, the SEMA Cruise heads over to SEMA Ignited, where the Battle of the Builders winner will finally be announced.
SEMA Ignited is the official SEMA Show after party, where fans and vendors get to relax and unwind while mingling with the builders and icons, the people who've collectively shaped the automotive industry. It's an event like no other, topped off with some of the most beautiful cars on the planet.
I tell you what, it's unbelievable. This is my 27th year at SEMA, and I'm telling you what, this is a spectacle.
The competition began with a mountain of over 300 submissions, and now it's down to the top 3.
I mean, we've been here 2 years ago and gotten the final 3, and we're back again, so we've had a big week.
It's exciting, but scary, and the adrenaline is going, and now I know why rock stars like being rock stars.
Yeah, it's Allen against the Troys.
You got 2 hot rods versus a custom, and man, who knows, right?
It's been an amazing week. Let's hear it for SEMA 2017. This is an incredible week. There is one piece of business left to do this week, and that is to crown the king of the SEMA Battle of the Builders.
So each and every one of these cars was created with heart, and that's what sets the boundaries of what's possible in automotive design.
There's over 300 cars that had to get narrowed down. That got dropped down to 40. That got dropped down to 12. Now, the judging was taken over by the actual builders themselves, who are allowed to vote on any car in the lineup except theirs. And it's down to these 3 you see behind me. Let's meet those 3 finalists.
So the first finalist is Alan Johnson. Come on up.
It's a 32 Ford, and it is ridiculously sick.
And our next builder, Troy Ladd. Come on up. And our third finalist for SEMA Battle of the Builders, Troy Trepanye. Come on up.
Welcome, Troy.
This is the final moment, so we have the representative from Moss Adams coming up with the final result.
All right, I'll start with third place. Without further ado, third place, Troy Ladd in the 1936 Packard Roadster.
And this year's SEMA Battle of the Builders winner is Troy Trepanye in his 1929 Ford Model A, 2 doors sedan.
Good job, guys. Everybody's a winner, obviously. You know, it's hard to narrow it down to 12, obviously, and nobody's a loser because it's obviously a matter of opinion. And you know, after listening to the guys give their spiel today, every car is so different and hand-built. It's amazing. It's a honor to represent Battle of the Builders and be picked. But I think everybody's a winner. we've won a lot of things over the last, 30 years, Riddler, AMBR, land speed records, Legends Cup, everything. So, this is definitely the big thing right now. The amount of participants and the quality and the level of, these young builders. So to win this, on the first try or win it at all is amazing. So, we're really proud of the guys at the shop and, Mark and Dennis for letting us do the car. And to even make it to the 40 down to the 12 to the 3 and to be picked #1, it's pretty amazing. And to have you judged by your peers, nobody loses. All 12 of them cars is a winner. It's a matter of opinion. I'm glad they liked what we brought, and I'm honored.
A big thank you to all the builders. It's been an absolutely incredible competition this year.
And we'll see you right here next year at SEMA Battle of the Builders.
Wow, Troy Ladd's 1936 Packard. I just love old Hollywood, and that car looks the part. That night was also super cold and windy, and my hair was flying all over the place, but we still got the job done. And congratulations to Troy Trepanye on becoming a Battle of the Builders champion. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night right here for another episode of Battle of the Builders. For more information, check out SEMABOTB.com. See you guys soon.